Welcome back to the channel and another video on the Escort mx5. So on this video I'm going to be cracking on. I've started, as you can see, but basically I'm making a start on tubbing this offside rear arch. So I've started off with a plate that just lips up onto that part I made. Got that mould gripped in place. It's going to be spot welded around there, then seam welded across. I've just tacked this piece in place. That's going to have to be cut, probably something like that, and it's going to be seam welded across afterwards. I've left it wide on the other side. That'll be chopped off flush and welded again on the outside and linished back. You can see the inside there, that's going to be, as I say, spot welded across, so we've got some real nice strength there. And then what I'll do is I'll box this over as well, so when you look on the inside, that's going to be inside the car, and I'll put a gusset going across there. I think I'm going to chop that flush, so all the way around. I'm thinking of taking this lip off and welding it flush like I did at the back. It's going to be a bit of a ball ache, but I think it's going to work better. I am going to just put a couple of bead rolls in this, just going down there. And I might even try and do something going round there, just to make it look a bit nicer. You can see the angle it'll take, so it'll be something like, so that'll be chopped off, probably something like that. So in fact, I get a marker, just put a mark line, just to give me an idea more than anything where that's going to go around. So if I take it flush there, gives us an idea where it's going to go. What I'm going to have to do is, well, I'm going to struggle, to be honest with you, and I'll have to do, basically I'm going to have to overlap them and just do a seam weld down there. The rest of it's worked out well, so I can't see how it'll be an issue. So it's just going to be a few different transitions for this bit, but the cutting disc has been the width of the weld and it's absolutely solid, so I don't think I'll have any problems. I've touched up a couple of little spots that I missed, so I think best thing to do now is cut all this flush, I think. Right, really need to go and grab the tripod. I've decided to obviously cut off the edge. I'm going to weld down there. I've left about a mil gap so I can fill it in. I was going to clamp it shut, but there's no point, so I'll just knock that back a little bit, weld that, seam weld all the way around there to connect them two together. I'll do that really hot, seam weld down there, and then I need to put a filler piece in that little bit there, and then just linish it all back, and then we can start putting in this piece, and it'll make fitting the arch a lot easier as well. So that's why I've done that. So I'll just weld all that up now. There's no point in filming that anyway. I'll just show you when it's done. So welded up now, linished back. Just need to make a repair section to go there. I've seam welded all them three together. That's actually going to be on the inside of the car there anyway. This will just mean now there's nowhere any dirt can get in. I still need to flat disc it down. I've just done that with a stone, so we'll get that a bit smoother. But it may not be worth bothering, because the top, I've got to do a seam weld over there anyway, so may not do that. So I'm going to crack on with making that little repair piece, linish it all back, and then we can start fitting in this floor section. That's my piece there. So I'm just gonna couple of tacks around here. I can't film this, it's just too awkward. Couple of tacks, then I'll trim off the edge, and then we'll do what we did at the top there and seam weld it, and that should be a nice strong chassis leg. Don't forget we've got 50x50 box section running all the way in there, so this is just additional strength. Got the first two bits welded in there. Bit difficult to get to down at the bottom, but that bit's much better. I'm just going to trim that off now with a 1mm disc, and then seam weld that. Then it's all ready to linish back, and we can start working on this. I may even be able to get a skimmer filler on that from the inside, depending on how anal I want to get. I might just stone chip it. This is where I've got up to now, so knocked out all the holes, ready to plug weld that in. Obviously we've left this long. Gonna leave it like this now. I'm gonna leave it like that now. I've had enough for tonight, so I'm gonna go in, get showered and crack on in the week. I want to put a couple of bead rolls in the panel that's there, but first I need to try and make this, because I'd quite like them to carry on and go in line. So I don't know how difficult this is going to be to make, mainly because I need to try and follow this line, because it goes all around like where the winders are and everything. But I'm hoping if I put a bend on it, I can start to just shrink it and maybe stretch it to suit. I think it'll just take a long time, hopefully not be too difficult. So I'll crack on tomorrow or the day after. It's been, I think, over a week since I've done anything on this. I've been sorting out my other garage and swapping cars around, stuff like that. But I'm going to carry on now with subbing this arch. I don't even know where I'm up to in the video. I've not started putting it together yet, so we'll see where this ends up. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure from there to there, put maybe a 15mm lip round, and I'll use the shrinker to start to create this curve. What I'm going to do, I think, is I might have to just trim that edge off ever so slightly in line with this, and then just keep making and making to get somewhere close. And what I'll have to do, I think, is overlap it on this side, and then basically tack weld it on, and then use a cutting disc to get this shape back. I've tried to get it in as round a position as I could, so we'll start cutting some steel and see where we end up. I don't mind admitting, severely struggling to get this piece in place. What I'm going to have to do is just place a tack up at the top here, or maybe two, so that I can figure out how to do this bottom edge. Alright, so now that's tacked in, I can bang a cleco in here and start trying to figure out, in fact I don't even need a cleco, I can grip it. So take that across to there, right up to the edge, which I'll show you in a second. So what I can do is cut off that now to suit. So following the existing, or the original anyway, bar, it just needs a little bit more lifting up. Maybe just on this one side actually. That'll probably tap up anyway. Yeah, it will do. Once I get a few more tacked around here. And to be fair, this little bit here needs a trim off. So this is how the inside's looking. I want to get a bead line down there and then follow them down this little piece here I made. If we put a line here, like that, I'm going to put a bend on that back piece on the actual arch, and we'll spot weld that on. But we'll spot weld it, hopefully it'll be that the bend will be on the inside, so we'll have to cut that across there, which we can figure out there. So that'll be cut there, that'll be cut off. This side I think is okay now. We'll probably just chop that little bit out there, so that'll get kicked out over there, which we'll just have to do manually. We'll try it again, so I'll have to cut out the spot welds I've just put in. Got some clecos in place now, so I can't lose the position of it. I've cut out the tack welds that I put in, and I've opened up the gap to give me a little millimetre up, just up to there. In fact, no, it's up to just near the cleco. So what I'll do now is I'll strip it off, line up when I want the bead rolls. I'm doing one at 5 centimetres, one at 15, so I can follow that through to the panel underneath. We'll bend that piece there first. In fact, no, we'll do that second. I'll just put a line on where I want to take the bead rolls to. We'll roll it so that it faces down like that side. Then we'll get it back into position. Just been cutting that little section there with 1mm steel, and my mk4 grinder's just shit itself. One of the bushes, or brushes rather, is absolutely knackered. It's lost the spring, virtually set on fire. The other one's like new. I've got some replicas. That one is quite new, but my other replica I've had for as long as that and never had a problem with it. So that's mega disappointing. So it's less than a year old as well. Anyway, I've got that out. I've marked up where the beads are going to go, so let's go and get that bead rolled. There was just no way to get a camera in while I was welding this in, so this piece is in. I've got a couple of spot welds in. I need to do them 3 there, but I'll do them from inside the car. Managed to get the back done and seam welded there, and then up the chassis leg. So we're now ready to place the arch into position, or the tub into position, and have a look how that fits. I've also ground back that, which is where the hood ram goes. That's going to have to get chopped, but I'm going to leave that until we're in position. So I'll get that in now and we'll have a look what it looks like. Got it into position now. Now I do need to get a couple of tacks in, and there is going to be a bit of manipulation done because when I've put the beads in, it shrunk the metal a little bit and thrown it a little bit out of shape. It does go back, and it goes back without too much problem, but I just want to get it tapped in because see, if I push it there, it pulls it. So if I push it up at the top, tack it at the bottom and work my way around. But you can have a look at what I was going for here. So my beads there, down there, and then they transition relatively neatly into the next section. So that's my tub sort of made. It will get a gusset as well on the inside, so I'll gusset from there to there as well, with probably some 2mm plate just to add some extra strength. Get the top bit in a bit, so if we get this bit on here, get some gloves on. Right, so you can see now the tap's pretty nicely going round. So what I'll do, starting at this section here, I'll seam weld that in, so I'll just run the cutting disc down there. In fact, that gap's probably okay. Gets a little bit worse up here. The very top's not too bad, that just wants a little bit of hammer work. So if I'm going to get a tack there, and then I can hammer that bit up. That's actually online pretty much. It's just impossible to film the last bit, but here's how the arch is looking. Sorry, the tub. Not done the top bit yet because I need to just knock it down from above, just a touch. But you can see it's looking pretty good. Welds are good. Not the prettiest, but they're okay. Just got to get a balsa chisel or something just to tap that back to the chassis leg from the top. Inside the car it's looking alright as well. So that'd be like a little cubby. Gives plenty of access for where the winder is, the mechanism if it ever has to be accessed in the future. You can see on that side, so yeah, pleased with it. Still got to fill in that gap there obviously, and tack down there, and also that one's pushing up. What I'll probably have to do is lower the car down and put a little piece of wood underneath there on a T-piece so that I can tack it from the inside. Alright, so I'm going to leave the video there. That's how we're looking, pretty pleased.